Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about the vast majority of crypto and finance. So with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. One of the biggest topics that is getting pushed by mainstream media, and I'm talking about every single mainstream media out there, it's war. Now, typically, when we start to see a lot of discussions and a lot of pressure being put on war, the big focus is what's causing all of this? What's actually going on behind the scenes? Because if you have gone back in time and looked at history on why we typically go to war and why war breaks out, it's because of challengers to the US dollar. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean nations challenging US dollar dominance, pushing back against the US dollar. And that's what we're actually seeing right now. One of the biggest things that I have been focused on this channel is Brics. Brics to discuss accelerated use of local currencies at Summit. Summit won't have de-dollarization on the agenda, Ambassador said. Leaders to discuss expansion of block at Johannesburg Summit. And this was back in August. Now, what's interesting about this is just a few months later, we started to see some very big moves by Brics. One thing that I mentioned back in August when we start to see a lot of these updates from Brics is not enough people are realizing the long-term effects of what the Brics is doing or becoming. Not overnight, but gradually, we are seeing a tectonic shift in terms of dominance and power. Mainstream media wants you following nonsense news while they don't put a spotlight on the Brics and the moves being made. Specifically, when we look at mainstream media, they are pushing the war idea. And what they're doing with it is they're twisting things to make it seem as though we need to go to war. There was a great video that I saw that got posted by Black Swan Capitalist, and we have understanding the illegal and unconstitutional currency war against the Brics alliance is necessary because it shapes the direction of where the financial system is going, including XRP. Don't pretend to talk about money when overlooking the dynamics behind the transition. Now, this is not Black Swan Capitalist. I'm forgetting his name. I'm blanking on it, so please don't scold me on it. I apologize. But listen closely to this video.
This is a message being sent to the Brics nations. Don't threaten the petrodollar or you're all going to die. We're all going to die. They will sacrifice half of the world's population. Half. At least maybe 3/4 of the world's population just to keep the petrodollar supported, to keep the US dollar as the world reserve. The US and its coalition partners, again, not one, a Brics nation. You think that's just by coincidence too? I know you don't believe in coincidences, none of these people. You and I sincerely have nailed this to the wall. Watch what's going to happen here on. You're going to hear more of this being flashed across every single mainstream media outlet. U.S. troops killed. U.S. troops killed. U.S. troops killed. They're going to try to get the American people's blood to boil. Then they're going to start showing you photographs of we hate America. America must die. Kill America. And then they're going to get everyone to back it again. And then there is their green light to light up the Middle East is what they're looking to do here, quite obviously.
And when we actually listen to this, although, yeah, it's a little bit hyperbolic, but when you go over to the news right now, look at every single news outlet platform. It's all discussing war. And we even have discussions of war in our own country for the first time in a very long time. So conflict is brewing. There's a lot of things happening at the same exact time that we have the Brics expanding. Brics now holds $45 trillion in wealth after Saudi Arabia joined the Brics. This was a very significant one considering the fact that now it's surpassing the G7 collective. And as we look at this, right, I don't think that mainstream media will ever report on something this significant. I don't think that they are going to talk about the petrodollar deal. I don't think that they are going to address how right now, as we look at the US dollar, yeah, it's still the reserve currency, but that title is eroding at a rapid pace never before seen in history. And I really think that as we look at the typical timeline for reserve currencies as well, we are overdue for a new one. The question is, are the Brics going to be the ones to introduce a new reserve currency, or are we going to change the entire dynamic for the first time ever and switch to a decentralized reserve currency not controlled by anyone? Because when we look at the idea of multiple reserve currencies and you look at what the central banks, the central bankers have been doing, they have been accumulating massive amounts of gold. Guess what else we have been, seeing from the Brics? We've been hearing discussions about a gold-backed currency. When we hear things like that, right? And then when you go back in time and you see this, Bitcoin CBDCs poised to erode dollar's dominance. This is from Morgan Stanley, by the way. It's so interesting to see where things are headed. And again, everyone can come up with their own idea on what's going to happen here, what to expect, things like that. But at the end of the day, as we do see the Brics expanding rapidly and challenging the US dollar, we see all these nations pulling out of the US dollar as well. They don't want to utilize it for trade anymore. They're done with the US dollar. They're done having a reliance on the US dollar because, again, the US has been utilizing the US dollar as a financial weapon for a very long time. Combine that with Bitcoin, CBDCs, even stablecoin, right? Stablecoin adoption. When we go back to 2022, for anybody that's been around since 2022, watching the channel, you probably already know that 2022 was not a great year for crypto, but it was a great year for stablecoin adoption. $7.5 trillion went through stablecoins. That's how much volume was pushed through stablecoins in 2022 alone. Now, mind you, this is not a bull run. This is nothing. This is a bear market, technically, 2022. So think about how much money is being pushed through stablecoins right now, or will be pushed through stablecoins later on this year. So as we really look at the dollar, right, and the dollar's dominance, are we about to see major erosion of the dollar? In my opinion, yeah, I do think that we will. Is it going to happen overnight? Is the dollar going to fall overnight? Not necessarily. But when you combine all of this together, it's putting immense amount of pressure on the dollar as a reserve currency, but it's also forcing a hand. And that hand being forced is we're going to usher into this new financial system where we do have gold-backed currencies. Those gold-backed currencies will be CBDCs. Now, for all of those individuals out there that just got terrified because, again, everyone hates CBDCs, I've talked about it in the past. I think that CBDCs are getting overhyped to the point where everyone's terrified of them. I don't think that retail will be touching CBDCs. I believe the way that this will work is central banks will have their CBDC because, remember, central bank monies is 10% of the global money supply. We'll have central banks have CBDCs backed by gold, but the retail sector, citizens, will be utilizing stablecoins. Hell, the US technically already has a stablecoin. The USDC, right? Circle has been working with the US for a very long time with USDC. USDC, in my opinion, is pretty much a US dominated stablecoin. So when we really look at what's happening here, it's kind of clear on what's going to happen, right? We're going to have those CBDCs. They're going to be backed by gold. And we're going to have multiple reserve currencies. And when I say that, we're not going to have one rolling all of them. No, we're going to have all these central bankers having their own CBDC that their nation relies on. And it's all going to have to be connected by something, some type of bridge currency. And that's also why I believe that XRP is perfectly positioned for this. Now, is it just going to be XRP? Not exactly, right? There's a ton of great opportunities out there that we could also look into. I think that one of the big ones is QNT. I think everyone should be looking into QNT, but we can see the significance right now. Even just recently on February 4th, we saw Brics, 20 nations join Russian payment system, ditching the US dollar. This has been the narrative for a very long time, right? Infrastructure is changing. Swift as a whole is starting to fall. At the same exact time that everyone is coming up with the conclusion that the dollar is dead. I think that is a very easy narrative to, kind of hold on to and just kind of rely on. But I don't think it's as simple as the US dollar's dead and the US dollar's falling. I think what we're really seeing is a forced hand and an acceleration into this new financial system. I mean, hell, even recently, Iraq banned 8 local banks from US dollar transactions. And this was on February 4th. So you could see the pressure being put on here at the same exact time that we just got this on January 30th. New Brics member Iran calls for digital currency systems this year. When we look at what's happening, it's all switching over to digital. Remember this, right? The number one thing that I said when it comes to a new financial system is that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over a few years. And guess what? It's been a very long time. But if you go back to 2010, look at what the Brics were doing. Specifically, look at what Russia was doing in 2010. It was right after 2008, the collapse, right? Russia was buying up gold heavily. A lot of the Brics nations from 2010 or around that time frame to now were buying up and accumulating massive amounts of gold. This has been in place for a while, and you can even go back prior to 2010 and see the challenges that were put up against the US dollar. There has been a lot of moves made throughout time that a lot of people just completely overlooked. Mainstream media will never report on it. They will never talk about it. But all of this is leading to a significant change in the financial system. And it's all reliant on digital banking, digital payments, digital currencies. And I still believe that at the end of the day, all of this is to accelerate it. The Brics pressure, CBDCs, Bitcoin, crypto, all of it. You could tell how fast things have been developing around this. At the same exact time that we also have Brics, Russia building new payment system without US dollar. This was January 29th. A day later, we got this. Digital currency systems. A couple days later, we have 8 local banks from, Iraq banning 8 local banks from US dollar transactions. Then we have 20 nations join Russian payment system. And we also have Brics now holding $45 trillion in wealth. Do you think all of this is just by a coincidence? No. Major moves are being made. And this is becoming a problem, right? That's what we're seeing. This is a problem. How are we going to challenge this? How are we going to, what solution do we have? Because that's exactly what happens in history. And that's exactly what happens around our global system as well. They need to create a problem. We need a reaction. And then guess what? We have the solution. In my opinion, with Brics, I feel as though we're all missing the full on the full on motive behind all of this. And I think the motive here is to fast track and accelerate the new system into a digital financial system. And we're going to have specific players behind it. I think that's clear, and it has been clear since day one. Although, yeah, we can get caught up in the whole idea of, XRP this, XRP that, Ripple this, Ripple that. But, when I talk about Ripple and when I talk about XRP, I truly believe that Ripple and XRP do have a significant role to fill here. But I also believe that there's a lot of great projects around crypto that do. And I'm talking about the actual technology stack, not just, hey, we can buy and sell things with this cryptocurrency. No, I'm talking about the actual tech stack and what it does to the financial system. It's very easy to get caught up in the what ifs and the hows and things like that. But when we really look at specific moves being made by Ripple, for an example, which again, I'm bringing that up because that's an actual company here that is revolutionizing payments with blockchain-based technology. Look at all of their partners. Look at what happened in just the last 2 years alone. They're working with Brics. right? They're working with a lot of the BRICS countries like Brazil. There was POCs with Russia back 3-4 years ago that I did talk about. Beyond that, you have India, right? They have been tapped in with India for a while. They've been working around that area for a while. China, they have been tapped in with the People's Bank of China. But beyond that, right, a lot of these BRICS nations that are now joining BRICS as well, they have been working with them. And I don't think enough people are looking at the connections here. But outside of that, there's a lot of great projects in this space that are crucial for this new system, like Quant, for an example, even Stellar technically. So focus on those connections being made and focus on the actual moves being made, because mainstream media, they are trying to create a lot of conflict. They're trying to make sure that your blood is boiling. They want to make sure that you are calling for the same exact thing that they want. I mean, we recently just saw major politicians pushing the war narrative. Why do you think politicians are pushing that? Because these politicians are playing the cards that they are dealt. But beyond that, politicians love war. They have always loved war. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. Also, if you guys do want to go check out NordVPN, 64 up to 72% off utilizing my link. Plus, you get 4 free months. Guys, you cannot beat this deal. And it has incredible benefits, including, of course, data breach scanners, password managers. They even have identity theft recovery benefit up to $1 million in coverage and up to $100,000 in coverage in cyber extortion protection as well. This is an affiliate deal. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not partnered with them or anything like that. But if you guys do purchase through my link, I do get paid. But the best part about it is that you also get incredible benefits by purchasing through my link. So if you guys do want to go check it out, links down in the description below as well as in the comments below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Nick. Peace out.